This bowl of mac and cheese contains 44 grams of protein. It's super simple to make and super delicious. In this recipe, we're gonna be using chickpea pasta. Chickpea pasta has a ton of protein in it. It has fiber, it has fats, and the best part is your guests probably wouldn't know the difference if you served it to them. The texture and the flavor is fantastic. It's very similar to regular pasta. The biggest problem I have with regular mac and cheese using regular pasta is it's going to spike your blood sugar. When you spike your blood sugar, it can lead to all kinds of problems. Bad sleep, problems with your skin, problems with your mood, so depression and anxiety, you have low energy levels. Spiking your blood sugar consistently is never a good thing. That's why we're using chickpea pasta to make the best high protein mac and cheese you've ever tried. This recipe works by slowing down the digestion of carbs. One way to slow down the digestion of carbs is to add a ton of proteins, fibers, and fats alongside it. Our sauce is actually going to be pretty high protein as well. We're going to be using a blended cottage cheese for the base of the sauce. It's going to taste fantastic. If you're scared of cottage cheese, trust me, once it's blended up, you don't notice the texture, you don't notice the flavor, you don't notice what it looks like. Some people just have an aversion to cottage cheese. So with this recipe, you won't even notice it's there. First, I'm going to boil up that chickpea pasta in that very ready pot of boiling water over there for about, I believe, it says 4 to 5 minutes. So I think this goes a lot quicker than a regular pasta would. We're going to be using a few different types of cheese in this recipe. You don't need to use all of them. I would recommend at least the cheddar and the cottage cheese. I'm going to add parmesan as well myself. Removing the parmesan can decrease the fat content, probably a bit of the protein content, but definitely the calorie content. I think it'll taste fantastic. That's why I'm going to do it. I'm going to grab my big used block of Parmigiano Reggiano. 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan. I'm going to break off a piece here to grate. Make it a little bit easier. You can also use pre-shredded Parmesan cheese or pre-shredded cheddar. I personally opt to get mine fresh. Apparently the flavor is a little bit better. I haven't noticed too much of a difference, but I heard that they use some kind of coating in the pre-shredded stuff to prevent it all from sticking together. And I personally like to eliminate ingredients from my foods. It's probably the best way to remove toxins. Not that I know it's toxic at all, I don't, but I just like to be safe. Put that off to the side for a sec. Next, we're gonna get 3/4 of a cup of cheddar. I've heard that sharp cheddar should work the best for this. I have some lactose-free cheddar on deck. Don't know if it's gonna be as good. Oh, timer's going. I'll just keep that off to the side for now. We're gonna wanna be stirring this into the sauce to melt at some point. So if you have a few big chunks, as long as you stir them in there good at some point, it's probably gonna be fine. All right, we got our cheddar. Go ahead and put that aside in the bowl with the Parmesan. I have this tool over here that makes mincing garlic super easy. Just throw it in there and give it a couple twists. It's sick, gonna use that. These are some strong garlic cloves, I will say. There we go. I'm gonna preheat my saucepan over here, put it on like medium-low heat. 2 tablespoons of butter. I find it very hard to, unless I'm melting the butter first, to measure tablespoons. I asked Siri and she said it's about 28 grams of butter, so I'm just gonna weigh that out. If anybody has a trick for that, please let me know. And before we move on to the saucepan and starting to get it all together, we're gonna blend up 1 cup of cottage cheese. On the packaging, this cottage cheese says 125 grams for half a cup. I'm just gonna measure up 250 grams. It's a little bit faster for me now that I have the scale, but you can use some measuring cups, whatever you have. I have 2% cottage cheese. One way you could cut down on the calories and the fat as well is if you go with a skim cottage cheese or a low-fat cottage cheese. I'm also going to be using 2% milk. You can do the same with the milk. Doesn't even resemble cottage cheese anymore. Kind of looks like yogurt. Perfect, exactly what we want. So now that our pan has heated up, I'm going to throw the butter in there and then I'm going to throw the garlic in there for about a minute. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but you can use garlic powder if you don't love the taste of fresh garlic. I know it's a little bit different. I personally love garlic. Gonna go with the fresh stuff. Got our garlic in there. All right, seems to be ready for our other ingredients. So we're going with half a cup of milk. Again, I'm using 2%. I go with organic pretty much everything. You don't have to. That's just my personal preference. Cottage cheese. And we'll add the cheddar and parmesan that we grated earlier. Another optional ingredient. I've heard this is good, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And we're gonna wanna add salt and pepper to taste. I wanna tell you guys today's food for thought. And yes, I called it a food for thought. It just makes the most sense to call it that. Probably heard this a lot, it probably sounds cliche, but cherish the day. Be grateful for what you have right now. You don't feel grateful for not being sick when you're not sick, but when you're sick, you can't wait to not be sick. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't aware of how amazing life was before getting 20 mosquito bites until I had 20 mosquito bites. I just wanted to share that with you while our sauce finishes up. It's actually looking pretty good here. I'm gonna try it out real quick, see if it needs some salt. I don't think it needs salt, but I think it might need some pepper, so I'm gonna put a bit in there. Gonna pour it directly in with our macaroni. For me, it's not only the taste that counts, but it's how I feel after as well. And when I eat regular mac and cheese, the blood sugar spikes, I lose energy, I lose sleep, I'm depressed and anxious the next day. So I wanted to come up with a recipe that didn't do that to my blood sugar, but was still delicious. Honestly, the best part is this is just base level mac and cheese. You can throw in whatever you want, like chopped broccoli would be good in here. Some sauteed onions would be good in here. Some shredded chicken would be great in here. There's so many things you could do with this. Keep it healthy. I'll link a short video below to Insulin Resistant One's channel. He's awesome. He has like a continuous glucose monitor and he sees how each food he eats affects his blood sugar. And he tried chickpea pasta and it was significantly better for his blood sugar than a regular or whole grain pasta. If you haven't tried chickpea pasta before, don't knock it till you try it. I think you'll love it. Having this high protein while eating a comfort food is almost unheard of. I'm happy you're here trying to make better choices for yourself. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video if you did. Comment down below what food you would like to see me make healthier, because I'm always looking for ideas on what things to make. I want to try making some healthy cookies, some healthy cinnamon rolls, pretty much any sweet I want to make a healthy version of. But stuff like mac and cheese, I need some help with ideas. So if you have any ideas, leave a comment below. I'm Randy. This has been Wise Bite Kitchen. We'll see you next time.